All right, false start, but there we go. I'm here after the Stream Elements bot. This is a first. Wait, is my microphone on? Yes, it is. Okay. Had to wait for my tea to be done. It's either gonna be the best tea I've had in a while or the worst. I guess we'll see when it's not boiling hot. Alright, let me see here. I always have trouble working on mine. I'm assuming you mean operating system. Once it gets to the kernel, do you have any advice for structuring it well? It's getting I/O from keyboard. That's the main issue. Not gonna lie to you, I/O is a painful thing to work with because I/O is you can do UART, I guess. That's the easy way. I didn't turn on one of my lights. You can do UART, or you can do like a proper USB keyboard driver. And well, one of them is a lot more complicated than the other, but the other one is a lot more correct, I guess, so to speak. I'm gonna turn on my camera for a second. So I guess you kind of have to implement that. That's the only choice that you have. Well, again, you have UART. I don't know what limitations it has, but I believe it'll work. It's just not what you're supposed to do, I guess. Holy shit, this tea. Alright, we'll see once I taste it. I feel like I'm gonna burn my tongue if I try it now. Okay, why is my camera not turning on? Yeah, there it is. Alright, so yesterday I was working on a 9p driver. That is a driver for the 9p protocol through VirtIO. And the 9p protocol is a protocol that was created for Plan 9 in order to do a file system over network. It is a file system. It can work over a network. The one I did is not over a network, it's on QEMU. But still, it's alright, I guess. I finished my driver. Hello, Icestorm. So yesterday I was doing something really stupid. I don't remember what it was. Oh yeah, okay. So one of these structures that I use to send information to the driver and to the device and then get information back was not packed, so I was sending the wrong information. So opening a file or directory was failing. So I fixed that, and then I implemented also a new one. I implemented an option to... I can already tell I'm gonna need allergy meds, so I'll have to leave for a minute. To get attribute, although it's hard-coded to return the size of a file or folder or whatever, and that way you can allocate enough memory to open that file. So with that, I implemented the full driver. Now I have an open... No, where is it? Up here. I have an open file, I have read file. It should work through... what is it called? It should work through syscall, except syscalls are limited to your own process. So kind of a little bit of an issue, but if you load your process through 9p, then you should also be able to access its own internal package and its own internal resources through 9p, which is kind of what I want to do today. Because if I do that, then this is a virtual file system that is actually provided over a network, or in this case, over a device, but supposed to be kind of like a network. Gonna turn off my camera until I can get some allergy meds. Yeah, it's supposed to be like over a network or over, like I said, a device, but it allows to file share between my host computer Linux and my guest computer Redacted OS. Well, guest operating system, not guest computer. And that way I don't have to reboot the system every time I make a change to the file system. And that way, because the change is being made externally, I don't have a way to make changes internally to the file system. So essentially, I will be able to run programs without needing to reboot the system, which is going to be pretty nice, especially now that the system is becoming a little bit more stable. All right, I'm going to get some allergy meds. I'll be back in a minute. Okay, and I'm back. So, essentially today's plan is to use this new file system, virtual file system, over a network or over QEMU to make the system load new applications when you, well, not new applications. I'm probably not gonna bother with that today. But to a certain extent, can I just like not have the light directly in my face? I feel like that would be helpful. Oh, but looking at it directly to fix it made it worse. All right. Again, I'm gonna be with the camera off until the meds kick in, I guess. So the plan is to have it be able to reload the program as you access it. As you reload it, as you recompile it or whatever the hell you're doing. So there is a problem that it's gonna be duplicated, most likely. But of course, the alternative, yeah, and instead of duplicating, I'm actually gonna go for the simple thing to do. Essentially, currently I'm sharing the user folder. Instead, I'm gonna share the FS folder. Actually, that should be the easiest way to do this. The FS folder is a folder that I have that contains my file system. It then gets compiled into a disk image, and that disk image gets used in the system, which is why you need to reboot the system. You need to recompile that disk image, and QEMU needs to redetect that new disk image. But now, if we go to the place where we're using these processes, or where we're loading these processes, and that would be the launcher. I am going to boot RedOS user and then something in order to get the executable. But now we're going to change it to shared RedOS user, which is my virtual file system. And let's see what happens. Didn't work. Did not work. It's about right. Yeah. To be fair, this includes the listing directory contents, which I have not actually implemented. Well, I have implemented it, but a very minimalistic version of it, and also, come to think of it, not entirely complete. So I'll have to look into it. But before that, it failed to get list. Okay. So the list directory contents is failing, and I don't really have a log knowing what's going on, so that's kind of an issue. So let me see. The function is actually down here. So first off, it would be ideal to move it. Well, I don't even know where it is actually. This one, it's a very small function. So we'll move it to be next to these functions that are the conformants to my file system functions. Function to open file, read file, and list the directory's contents. It could fail. For example, if walkdir returns... Actually, I forgot to do this part. What the hell? I made it so that if there's an error, they return a uint32 max, but just gonna quickly... Damn it, I didn't mean to change that one actually. There, I'm just gonna use an invalid FID macro, so that's a little bit clearer. And hey Penguin. Okay. First we're gonna check if we have an invalid FID when walking the directory, so that would mean that whatever we're looking for doesn't exist. Okay. Let's check number one. And by the way, I spent an hour today actually debugging for whatever reason this was failing. The reason being I misspelled something. I misspelled the directory that I was looking for, and it was returning a directory not found because it didn't exist. Turns out. A little silly. But oh well. Figuring that one out. Okay, so the error is not there. The error is probably inside of list directory. So there's a few possibilities. First off, listing directories could be causing an error. Speaking of which, did I leave that on? Oh, I didn't. Damn, are you serious? I used to have a trace file trace, and then trace, damn it, what was the name of it? V9FS? Something like that. I gotta look this one up. V9FS, that's correct, yes. So with this, I'm gonna be able to get actually a trace in a file called trace that I actually have here. Telling me where there's an error. This is not up to date though, so this is not for mine now. Wait, was it? Version R error? No, I don't think that was right. Kinda don't remember how to do this, even though I did it yesterday. Or this morning even. I'm not so sure about this, QEMU. Oh, wait, actually, the problem is not the double dash. It's that I was missing the, Oh, you just put it in the comments, I didn't see that. Alright, so now I expect to get a trace. At the very least, that still looks exactly the same as it did before. Without the walk directory. Also this trace makes no sense. How are you returning a version and then an error? Wait. Did it not initialize maybe? I mean, that would lead to a null pointer really, but... Failed to get list, no trace, so I'm not initializing the file system most likely. And the file system gets initialized by shared init, which calls, creates a new driver and then initializes that new driver. And puts it inside a shared. And then I highly doubt that this module is failing, but you never know. Maybe I'm just not returning correctly. No, this should be working fine. So why are you not initializing this driver? Or are you? And I'm just... Initialized device, sending commands. We're gonna put that on... God damn it. Maybe a semicolon would be nice. Initializing device, sending commands. I should probably put a print here. Oh. Wait, was I initializing it backwards? Come to think of it. If it is equal to invalid FID, I want to print an error. But before I was sending a false. Though I don't think that's going to affect anything, but still. Interesting. Well, actually, version tag, version return tag, and then an error. What? That's new? Am I maybe passing the wrong folder? It used to be user, now it's FS. That I don't see how that's any different from how it used to be. It still says our error, what the hell? And yes, I did forget the return. But that's not leading to the error. Initialize device, sending commands. Okay, this is so weird. I send out a version with a tag, an ID, an M size, a version, and I receive back a tag, an ID, a size, a version, and then I see an error with nothing else besides it. Although what I see afterwards is an open tag, so most likely it's an error on the root attach. Which I'm supposed to be catching, but apparently I'm not. Result ID 7. So I'm returning an invalid FID. Is my check incorrect? No, I'm returning an invalid FID. Aren't I? Root 0. What? Am I not returning it by any chance? Oh, the value is 107. No, that's not right. Oh, I pasted the wrong thing. It's RL error. Oh, I didn't notice that. There's 2 errors. For that matter, I should compare it to both, but it doesn't matter. The point is, now I get -1, fail to attach. Okay, now as to why it failed to attach, it says error 95, and I'm honestly not parsing these errors. Though I had it here somewhere. God damn it. Well, here should probably be the attach. function, and it can return invalid argument, which is 22. Whereas I'm receiving 95. So God knows what 95 is. Or why it started to fail now because it was working before? That's so weird. Maybe because I wasn't reading the result. Now I am, so I may be reading it wrong. That's worth looking into. Attach. I'm now using the R attach with its size here and here. I'm back on the old route, so that shouldn't be a problem. This is the wrong, this is the wrong file to look at. This is the one. I mean, does Plan 9 have here information about what the error is? No. Why would anyone need that information easily available? You have to dig for it. You have to really earn it. Because it is a numerical Linux error number. So you have to really dig for it. Because I don't assume that this is going to have an easily readable list. Not with numbers. But QEMU has the numbers, so we'll look at him. Here. 95 is not there. There is another place where they have these errors, because this is not what I was looking at earlier. No, this is the same file. This probably has the same value. Oh, this one has a 95. Operation not supported on transport endpoint. Doubtful. I'm a little doubtful on that one. Because you were supporting it until like 10 minutes ago. So I don't trust you. I don't trust you. Unless you really don't need to attach. I don't know. Pretty sure. Yeah, you attach. Then I guess I can look at my trace. There's nothing in it. Oh, how hard is it to find information for what you're looking for, honestly? Right. Okay. Yeah. Well. So events is the input, the events that you want to trace, because you can have a. Yesterday worked and today worked. The entire thing worked today. Also, trace worked. There are 42 matches for the word file. Trace file? What? Okay, there is an option to have QEMU write the traces to a file, which is apparently what I had been using until now was trace file. Do I have to use the double dash? Again, this worked like 2 hours ago. No, it's not that one. But of course, the documentation expects you to read all this and then won't actually tell you what it is. Seriously, all the documentation I have read in the last 2 days is just so useless. It's incredible. I just want to know what I need to do. That's it. You cannot write documentation this poorly. Oh, fuck off. No. No. I have to go on a scavenger hunt just to find a compile option. No, without the grep. Oh my god, how am I possibly gonna find anything here? What if I look for event? Okay, so help is actually just a list of traces, not an actual help. Again, something that I did 2 hours ago. But because I restarted my computer, I can no longer just control Z. Hmm. And apparently nobody has ever needed to do this because there's no information for it. I swear it's file. It's gotta be. Unless it just so happens that I need to write it in the same thing, but I doubt it. Still no. Quick start doesn't tell you how to do it. It tells you how to load a file, not how to actually write to a file. Again, an option that I used earlier. I don't even remember where I got it from. Order is... It wouldn't take them in the same argument, but you would be surprised if... You wouldn't be surprised, I mean. Yeah, that's it. Just need to put it in order. Again, this would be easy to figure out if their documentation mentioned this option at all. It literally does not talk about it. Their documentation, other people's tutorials, the hidden option. Nobody has ever needed to trace something to a file, apparently, except for me. But okay. Also, the trace is incomplete. Because, you know, you're returning an error without telling me what command I'm telling you for the error. How can you return an error without... Wait, and this is not an LR error. This is an error. That makes no sense. I don't know what else to say. This entire thing makes no sense, I swear to God. The second I get on stream, everything just breaks in the stupidest way. It doesn't finish recognizing it. It doesn't even, like, start recognizing it, apparently. It doesn't even trace it. Which, again, the attach command is also, like, super simple. What can possibly have changed between 2 hours ago and now without the code changing, without anything changing? That made it fail this badly. Our error means it has a problem with my data. And the error is 95. Which, mind you, this documentation does not even mention. And when it was malformed before, QEMU was showing me an error. That's another thing. Now it's not anymore. Okay, so it broke on its own. Suddenly. To the point that this is back to what it used to be. This is literally the committed version, and when I committed it, I tested it. With trace. The only thing I didn't commit was the trace, which I then stupidly disabled. Well, the error specifically is a operation not supported on transport endpoint, which is again a lie. Unless it just so happens that for whatever reason, maybe I offset these and now they're wrong. No, it's 105, that's correct. Wait. First off, shouldn't there be a place where I go to see? Like if I do, I don't know, T-walk. Oh, I was looking for R attach. I should have looked for T attach. So, wait. Okay, so I was sending the return. Why though? When did that change? Attach works. That is so weird because either it shouldn't have worked when I committed the code, or it should have never worked. I feel like most likely should have never worked. I don't understand how this possibly could have happened. But anyway. So the file system should initialize now. Does it actually load? No. Still failed to get list. And no other unhelpful or helpful errors after that. In fact, 0 other errors after that. Did the initialization from my end work? Root 0. It was definitely T attached. It was definitely T attached when I committed it. I don't know when I changed it. At some point in between committing and sending it that I did it wrong. Again, the entire thing worked today. So, no idea what happened there. Just gonna confirm that it is succeeding. Yes. Okay. So, okay. Oh, okay. Okay. I didn't put any. Any error codes in here, so that's not helpful. A replace gone wrong. I did some replaces now, but that was after the commit. Wait, fail to navigate to... Just gonna leave it like that. Fail to open. Because actually navigate and open, or walk and open work for both. And then... Always pressing the wrong keys here. I haven't opened the calculator once today. That's progress, I guess. Failed to open. File. But then the real reason it's failing is that I'm in the wrong folder. Simple. Still fails. Again, with no helpful errors. Oh, because the errors I just put in are for the other thing. Those are for opening a file. We're trying to list the contents of a directory. No, that was fine. That was fine. What was missing here is a return 0, 0. So it didn't fail to navigate, but it must have failed in here then. Oh my god. I cannot type today. Or ever. Failed to read file, it said that? No. It shouldn't say that, because again, that was the wrong function. Fail to get directory entries. That should be the only place where I can possibly fail. Everything else is just parsing. Read fail, not open fail. Oh, okay. Hold on, let me see. Wait, instead of error messages, I should have just looked at the trace. Not that it's super helpful, but again, this is not showing anything. So we're attaching, we're opening, we're not getting anything. So we are again not navigating to the directory. That I did write it as shared, right? Shared RedOS user, yes. Instead of boot. Failed to get a list. But shouldn't you get... No module for path. Wait. Do I need... Yeah. There it is. Okay. Now we're actually getting an error from Read dir on non-directory stream. RedOS user. How is that not a directory stream? Well, we're hoping that the hey Julio. Read dir on RedOS user with file ID 1, then read directory with file ID 1. Error 20. Did you change back to local folder? No. So it finds the directory. It just claims that it isn't a folder. It sure looks like a folder to me. And here it says RedOS user. And it's navigating to that because it's returning a walk return, same tag, correct ID, new quiz, correct names too, RedOS and user. It looks like a directory to me. And I'm not seeing any other errors anywhere else. Okay. It's really trying my patience today. With these ridiculous errors that make no sense. So user is not a directory now, apparently. Or this is actually failing even though it's returning a correct value. And how can we possibly know the difference between the two? Read dir on non-directory stream. I mean, unless I am sending it to the wrong FID, but I am not. I'm sending it to FID1, which is new FID1. The only thing I can see is that I'm not opening it. Perhaps. I don't know why you would say that it's not a directory when I'm... the problem is that I'm not opening it, but... Wait, no, that... Okay, read dir is not opening, actually. So maybe I am skipping a step, but again, the error shouldn't be... Also, reading files was also entirely wrong. Last time root was just user. See, but I tested it with getting files inside of file system, loading this list. The only thing I can think of is that I forgot that. You have to walk to the directory. Then I guess you open the directory. How am I doing? Because here I'm doing it. Here I'm doing root, and then I'm doing open. I really should turn these into macros. Failed to get open directory. How's talking to ones and zeros today? Well, the ones are pissing me off. The zeros are okay. Okay, it worked. Thank God. Oh shit, there's an ad. I completely forgot that. Alright, I'll be back in 2 minutes and a half because I already skipped 30 seconds of the ad. Okay, I'm back. And 9p is working, surprisingly. Which means I can load... Well, I haven't seen if I can load the process, but I can list a directory. Okay, I can't load the process. I gave it a shot. It seems to be searching for the file. Oh, what's this? Address 810. Oh, his programming was all binary. Jesus, no. That would be a waste. A waste of time, I mean. My god, I hate you, Linux. I hate you. Also, I fixed the issue. Oh my god. That one was on me for pressing enter too early, to be fair, but still. I was having an issue streaming from my Mac last time I tried. Opening OBS would just overload my system. Line 69. Of course it had to be 69. Oh, I'm not initializing the... Did I fucking test this? I mean, at this point, I immediately realized what the error is, and it really makes me wonder, did I ever fucking test this thing? There is a chance I didn't. Wait, hold on. Kind of the wrong structure to use here, but it works. It's fast. Bro, in what world does this happen? In what world is this a reasonable thing? Also quit the program and then it didn't actually run. Like, quit. This is ridiculous. There, we have it. It updated. Now, because so far I haven't had any kind of reloading on the fly, then it won't reload the programs that are currently on the list of programs unless you restart. But just as a test. I'm gonna load into the system. Then I'm gonna go here. I'm going to go into my Doom folder. I'm going to just make. Although, now I need to make it so that... Okay, hold on. Some stuff missing. I hope that's the right order to do things. Let's find out with a clean. I'm gonna clean and then I'm going to... No, but I don't want to make run. That's the problem. If I make run, it is going to fail. Because another user... Okay, so no, the order is correct. Okay, that's good. The process is gonna fail because someone else is already using the disk image. Funnily enough, the disk is not being used for anything anymore, but now we can do make copy. Wait, damn it. The way that it's supposed to work is copy depends on all and run depends on copy. But still. There's Doom. Loaded. From the right place. It didn't load though. The entire system is frozen. Hello? It may very slowly be copying the file. How big is this damn executable? It's a megabyte. That cannot possibly be. Okay, the point is that it works. Alright. Let's not get... Now, obviously I gotta figure what's going on. But it works for reloading in real time without needing to restart the system. So that's good. This way I'll be able to do game development and other similar development stuff without needing to constantly reboot my system. I know it boots in about like a second, but hey, any second is valuable. And because of the way that my allocator works, there's probably some memory that is now being freed, so eventually the system's gonna have some issues. Can turn my camera back on. Ooh, is it very red? What the hell? Why is my camera just straight up red? Am I the only one seeing it like that? I genuinely cannot tell. Hold on. No, it's pink, not red. I did have to turn off one of my lights just so it doesn't bother me too much. Maybe I'll turn it on in a bit. If I remembered where the remote is, oh, here it is. Okay, I can at least switch it to like a neutral color. Alright, that's a little bit better, though it's still dark, but that one's on me. I can also switch it to voice activated mode, which is really stupid, but it looks like that. Wait, now I gotta go back. Shit! There. Alright, first off, there is a print happening in here. That is just spamming the names of the... This one. That was a debug print that is spamming all the names of all the files and stuff, so we don't really want that. But opening Doom is failing. So let's see what we can do about that. For instance, we can no, not in here. We should have gotten the file size, so let me print that. The file size. It's okay. The read should be happening on several calls, yes. I'm making a million typos in the text, but I don't care. That'll just encourage me to get rid of them. Alloc succeeded and open succeeded. But when it comes to run, it is recursive. In the sense that, first off, I need to optimize all of these calls to kalloc are gonna go away, but I'm also now freeing that memory. But like again, I want to optimize it so I won't need to free it. But I am sending. Let me see if at any point I am receiving an. You can tell me. I'm confused. Because it says count, and it's the exact amount I requested, and then it says error 1496. What the fuck do you mean? Let me try a different one. I see what it's supposed to look like when you load this very small process that didn't load. It had the exact same error. I'm opening the file. I'm giving it file ID 2. I am read only. And then I send a read tag. Sounds like buffer size. Yes. That's what's really weird. It's probably the entire size plus... Oh, you know what's funny? This used to be the wrong size. This used to be the size of read tier or something like that. Yeah. Does that work, I wonder? No. Okay, it fails. Thank God. Oof. Are you complaining about the amount of data that I'm... Mind you, again, we saw how this was working until like 5 minutes ago. Dare I say? I don't think this is an error. I think that may have been the bracket issue. Hold on. You've got to be kidding me. This was literally working until it didn't. It even worked to read the image file before. So it must have worked. And then it stopped. It just stopped working randomly. Again, this used to be read tier, and I would be really surprised, but also not really, if this one worked and the other one didn't. What the actual fuck? What is actually happening? Jesus Christ. Alright. So the size of read directory, which is 326432, is working. The size of tread, please be different. It is the exact same. They are the exact same size. And yet, when I use one of them, it works. When I use the other one, it doesn't. Or it randomly decides to work occasionally. That's another possibility. It feels more like it's that one. This has no genuine explanation. Now it works. Alright, so go Doom. It's a big file. And loading it 4 kilobytes at a time. It could take a bit. Alright, this is ridiculous. So these files worked. Whatever the error means here, it means that it was still sending data. Like it was working, and then I don't know what that error means, but it's not an actual error. Hey, let's do a bigger read. Instead of 4 kilobytes at a time. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so it was just about the size of the buffer. Alright. So I guess it works. It doesn't even feel good. That's how ridiculous this entire experience has been. Alright, it does work, but of course, all these buffers, I'm using them and then I'm not freeing them. Kinda want to fix that. So I was thinking, you know, creating 2 buffers for them. Staging literally everything I did, because what the fuck has been going on today? On staging this though. And then allocate into the, well, actually, do a page allocation. At mem level kernel attributes read write full page, and then the other one, the response buffer, p allocate a defined response max size. Again, for mem priv kernel. Again, oh, actually, both are read-write, but they're also device memory. And again, allocating a full page for this. Well, actually multiple full pages, but yeah, allocating. And that. So now, instead of doing allocations every time, we simply write buff and the resp buff, kind of like that. And if I copy this, I should be able to paste it here, here. For the list contents, where also the amount is going to be the max amount, whatever I called it, the resp max size, not max amount. Okay. All right, next up in these, where again, this is now the resp max size. In get attribute, we do the same thing. In read, we do the same thing. Max resp max size. And then when we're negotiating the size with the server, which I think happens in attach or in choose version, it's a choose version. Okay, here it is. We're defining a maximum size. We're going to use the one that we just defined because that's actually the maximum size that we're using and it crashes. Because we accessed a null pointer. Because let me guess. Yeah. All right. Failed to the code vertfs request 110. Oh, we. Kinda should still memset them, shouldn't I? Which one is 110? That's T-Walk. Where am I passing the header size? Oh, here. That should work, I feel like. Oh, but bum. We're most likely. We are most likely, since we're reusing the same buffer every time. I know it's... no. That should work fine, but let me see what it's receiving. Yeah, it's not parsing the names correctly. And just to test. No, this is actually just a page size. So. Oh, wait. Oh, this was a special buffer. Shit. Is 4 kilobytes not enough data? I feel like 4 kilobytes is more than enough data. That's what it was allocating at the beginning, so this should be fine. Just in case I'm gonna memset. Yeah, okay. I really don't... I shouldn't reuse the same buffers because this thing relies on... Yeah, okay. I'm just not gonna reuse the same buffers. For some of these commands anyway. So, actually, don't think we're gonna need to do that. We can just use amount for both. Couldn't open doom1.wad file size 0. Weird. Most likely, sped up significantly, I would say. Should be fine freeing them here. Yeah, it's faster now. Turns out the issue was just, it does use Blend9. The issue was just QEMU, not my system. So I just had to recompile QEMU. Damn it. CMD and the size of a T read. Except it's aligned to a 4 kilobyte, so page size. Oh, okay, I'm gonna keep it correctly. And then free the response, which needs to be cast to a void pointer, which is the size of amount. But one of these other commands is also messed up, so I gotta do the same thing for all of them. Yeah, my little optimization was maybe not the best idea. I have to admit, Freen is not doing a whole lot right now. Kind of need to consider a little bit what I'm doing with this allocator to make it work properly, but okay. So the response we cannot free. This we can free. T read tier. The response we have to free manually. Again, these are just placebo at this point, but oh no, okay, yeah. Mount minus the header, which is the size of our read tier. And amount is now our total size for the response. You can free the command immediately. You cannot free the response until either you fail or you're done. Again, list directory could possibly fail if there's too many items in the directory because it's not recursive, but it has a maximum size of 10k, so it's really unlikely that it will fail. I want to speculate. I love having to undo all the stuff I did that's completely broken. That's not humiliating at all. Oh, this is CMD. And these are... Am I just sending packets? Oh, the version packet, okay. And as a response, I am receiving another version packet, is that correct? Yeah, they use the same structure. Interesting. All right, that makes it easier for me. All right, so that's all. We're on doing this. And we're on doing this. We're checking to make sure I haven't left any behind. There's some red here. It's just stuff I left out. Oh. Pretty sure that's a different bug. M size? No, M size can stay the same. That is still the maximum message size. System has crashed. What? What's happening? Great, now I gotta review all these. Here read amount. Okay, these are fine. These are fine. These are fine. T read dir and amount. And you free the command as soon as you're done sending it. And then you free, well, as soon as you're done processing. And then you free the other one either when you failed to get a response or when you, okay, amount, both of them, so that's correct. R open, L open, T open, R open, I mean. Command and response. Make sure I'm freeing the correct pointers too. Command and response, command and response. T open, L open. T read there. Okay, so I already checked these actually. T attach, R attach, T attach, R attach, command and response. Version packet, command and response. Guest says index is available. What does that mean? Guest says index 3059 is available. So it must be talking about this one. Why is this bug new? You know what? Funny thing. Wait, no, undo that. I guess I'll have to add the freeze later, but I mean, again, more so, but oh wait, how did I do that? Oh, hey, that works. Let me try a couple of them. Really weird. Then again, I'm used to it. Okay, so here we don't want to free the response until we know for a fact that we can. So that's here. And T read dir and free the response with the size of R read dir plus the amount. And we're going to do the same thing at the end when we succeeded. The command size is actually the size of a TWalk plus the amount. The response size is just amount. T get attribute without the amount, and the size of a R get attribute. Okay, last one. The command we're sending here is just a T read. The response we are sending is an amount. Yeah, this fails. One of these. I suspect it's you. Not you, not you. Someone else. Someone else has betrayed me. I mean, that one was, because that would lead to a different error. What is y'all's problem? What is y'all's problem? This makes no sense. But alright, I'll look into them in a bit. Alright, there's an ad coming up, so I'm gonna take a break, and I'll be back in 3 to 5 minutes. All right. So it turns out for this one, yes, the problem is that um and for the one after that, I don't believe maybe that one isn't the problem. Why am I back? Sorry. Yeah, that one wasn't a problem. It was always the first one. Okay. Any other places where the return type? Why are you not crashing? Oh, this one isn't crashing because it's doing this check, but it doesn't actually use its value. It just checks if it's an error. So it's not gonna crash, but it is gonna return a success if it doesn't, even if it doesn't succeed. So because the value is available, it's just set to 0. Same for this one. Okay, and same for this one. Oh, here I'm just straight up not free in memory, huh? M size is a 32? So some sizes are 64 bits, but some sizes are 32 bits. Okay. It's not really luck, it's just a limitation of the system. Alright, that's all of them. Oh my god. Wait, is that? Not sure if that bug came from that or from the system itself. Yeah, that came from the system itself. That shouldn't happen anymore. It seems instead it just happens a lot less often, but it still happens. Great. I love when a issue happens a lot less often because that makes it so much harder to debug. So that sucks. Okay, and also okay. That's all the prints. That's that. I'm going to git ignore this. So that way I can keep the trace file in even if I don't trace anything. God damn it. Sometimes it lets me edit, sometimes it doesn't. Very inconsistent behavior. the file system of the file is read-only. I can guarantee you it isn't. I can guarantee you my file system is not read-only. But hey. See, I wasn't read-only. Let me see that it works. It just shouldn't see any traces, but the system should boot correctly. Should be able to load Jester's picture. And the trace is empty, but that's good, okay. Using 9p4 launcher. So now, if I launch the system, I'm going to pong and I make run. Damn it. I have it there. Great. Except I need to add that thing I did with Doom, which I swear I had open, but apparently I didn't. The changes that I made to its makefile, which is to say that now I do this. I also need to make to the template. Here. All right. And then I'll need to update about 1 million apps to do the same thing. But the point is you can somewhat hot reload the system. There is still one thing missing, and that is in the launcher. It loads the entries only once. Whereas now I wanted to load... No, not launch. Load entries multiple times. And also I have this add entry thing, but I need to completely empty all the entries before I do that. Do I have a function to do that? I don't even have a remove function, it seems. Shit. Great, I have to code a remove function. To be fair, what I really have to code is a... I could delete it and restart it, but that's kind of not what you want to do. Which is to say that for all the items, we are going to uninitialize those items. we are going to free the memory of those items. We're going to set the count back to 0. So it's kind of like deinitializing and then initializing, but without doing that. Okay, so now if I make run, again, not sure if this is that crash that happens sporadically or not. No, this is a different crash. Funnily enough, it comes from entries empty, which okay, it's calling free when the count maybe I should check if the count is bigger than 0. With count being a u into 32, so we're good. Wait, did I reactivate that function or not? I did. Okay, now it works. And now, when you return from a process, new alloc, what about it? No, there's no need to allocate. We're just emptying the array. Oh, here. Okay, it's actually this code. We're gonna reload the entries that we have after we quit a process. So for example, I open Jester's picture. Do I still have the Doom thing open? I make copy. And when I leave Jester, there's Doom. That doesn't seem to load. God damn it. You can never win with this damn thing. Now, okay, this may be a different memory issue. Doom has some problems. Well, not Doom, just large files have some problems. That I guess I kind of need to study, but it's if it's a different issue, it's a different issue. Okay, so we don't have to deal with that right now. For the love of God, I don't want to deal with that right now. And also, for example, I can make run. I can open Pong, plays itself. This game isn't even finished, it's super buggy. But, did I make copy? No, I didn't. While Pong is running, please for the love of God don't crash. That would be tragic. What am I looking for? It's right here. I can make a copy of Pong. I can even, for example, we can change the paddle color. Oh my god, I cannot speak. How is it read-only? I don't understand. My file system suddenly turned read-only and nobody told me about it. So I'm gonna make a copy. I'm gonna go back to the system. Reload Pong with a new paddle color. Okay. Thank God. The system does freeze sometimes. I don't understand why. But I'll need to look into that one. Alright. Honestly, I wasn't planning on streaming today, so I might just leave it here. Since I was able to do what I wanted to do, which is hot reloading in the system, fully working. I still need to look into that memory issue, hopefully before October. So, well, that memory issue, the freezing issue, hopefully before October. That way I'll be able to like properly make a game that way, without having to deal too much with this. But planning to make several games actually. We'll see. But one in October is the plan. If you emptied and free the buffer, wouldn't that use free the memory? Yeah, hold on. Why am I freeing the buffer? You're right about that. What I want to do is I wanted to memset the memory. To 0. That's what I wanted to do. Thank you. Hadn't noticed that. To be fair, I am pretty tired, which is also why I want to end the stream. Whoa, don't do that. Don't do that. Okay, so I am streaming tomorrow. No, not same time as today. Although, kind of. Because I ended up streaming at the usual time that I usually do, even though I improvised it. But I am streaming at 8:30 p.m. CEST. Not entirely sure what I'm gonna do yet. Might do a little bit of that game thingy for reference. Might as well show it. Since I can now just run the system. And in the meantime, I remember the name of it. Did I delete it? Did I not? Oh, I didn't do it on this computer, did I? I didn't do it on this computer. Okay, so I cannot show it right now. But a little game that I started making that's literally just a character moving around and then dying after 10 seconds. But maybe I'll create some gameplay for that. Maybe I'll keep working on that. Maybe I'll work on something else. Haven't decided yet. So thank you so much everyone for joining. I will link my Discord in the chat and I will see you tomorrow. And thank you for the help again, Ice Storm.